All right, guys, this is your third poetry lesson of the week. We have a couple more elements of poetry to talk about and a new style of poetry today. I really like this one. It's very silly and very weird, and it makes me laugh a lot. So I hope you guys like this one too. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about when we're talking about elements of poetry is ideas and content. That seems pretty straightforward. You should have ideas and content in everything that you do. But this says, well-written poems have great ideas and content just like good books and make the reader think. The ideas are important to help express the main ideas to the reader and come from the heart of the writer. So here's my thought about poetry versus a story. Mrs. Sloan would be definitely the better person to talk to you about this, but here's what I can tell you. A story is where you develop characters and you tell an entire thing from start to finish, but poetry is where you get straight to the heart of the matter. So if somebody's really sad in your story, you focus only on that sadness and really dive right in. So in a picture book or even a chapter book, you really have time to develop your characters, but in poetry you have time to develop the feeling. So the feeling is the biggest part of your poetry, and you want to dive right into that. Okay? Now that's for really serious poetry. For today, our poetry style is called Creature Alliteration Poems. And they're just silly. I really hope if you're an artist and you like to draw, I hope you draw a picture of your artist or your creature later on, because it's just silly. They're just meant to be really funny. So for example, this little guy over here is obviously not a creature that exists in real life. He's just a little drawing. But this creature alliteration poem kind of goes like this. It says, this type of poem makes use of alliteration, which is where all those first letters start with the same, to describe a creature. It is a humorous, whimsical form of poetry. The main words in each line will all begin with the letter you choose to alliterate. So it says each line of the poem, except line 1, should have at least 4 words alliterating with the letter you chose. Do not repeat alliterating words you've already used. And then it says the use of a dictionary is especially helpful in writing this type of poem. This is totally true. When I wrote my example, I totally had a dictionary nearby, and I kept Googling different things to help me come up with other words that started with W, because that's what I did my poem about. But if you have a dictionary nearby, you should go get it. So anyway, you're going to want to keep this nearby, and if you printed off that poetry packet, you've got it in front of you. But this is kind of the outline, I guess you could say, of the poem that you're going to write, and it'll help you, and it's going to sound really funny. So basically line 1's pretty easy. It wants you to name your creature, and then you add the word IAN to the end of it. If that doesn't work for you, that's fine. It's just meant to be, you'll see you're going to kind of like turn something else into your new creature. But you can also, I just made something up, okay? Line 2 is where, and I want you to notice that lines 2 through 6 are basically asking you to find alliterating words. So that means like if your little creature starts with a W, that means all of these other words you're gonna have as many W's as you possibly can, okay? So the very second line wants to know where your creature lives. Then it wants to know what your creature eats. Then it wants to know what he likes, or her. And then it just says something about your creature, and then it says something about what your creature did to you. So again, don't worry about memorizing this or anything. You'll have it in front of you, no problem. So this is one that the author of this slide made up, and I'll read it out loud. She used a ton of words. I definitely didn't use this many. So it says, this is a Principalian. Principalians live in perfect purple pyramids on the plains of Peru. Principalians politely eat pudding pops and pickled pig feet with pepper on plates while drinking Pepsi. They also love pepperoni pizza. Principalians poke peas with pencils, ponder perplexing puzzles, and perform procedures on penguins. Principalians pose for pictures while printing poetry, practice perspective, and paint pottery. They persuade people to purchase perfume. This Principalian prescribed a painless pill for me and panicked when I pretended to perish. So again, this first line tells you what your creature is. Your second line tells you where they live. Your third line tells you what they eat. Your fourth line tells you what they like to do, I think, or what they like. So this is the one that tells you what they like. And then this line tells you something that they do. And then this one says something that they do to you. Okay, so that's kind of the plan for this one. So the silly one that I wrote up, and like I said, mine's a whole lot shorter. So what I did with mine is I tried to be kind of creative with the way that I wrote it. So it says, this is a Whizblartian. A Whizblartian lives in the whimsical, wonderful woods of Wichita. A Wisblartian eats weird warm worms with white warts. A Wisblartian likes wild whales that win at World of Warcraft. A Wisblartian wants all Winnebagos to wander the world while whistling on the way. A Wisblartian wonders what werewolves are wanting when howling at the wacky waning moon. So you can see I didn't use every word to be a W, but I definitely tried my best. So this is the page in your packet, and it's going to kind of walk you through the whole thing, but I can tell you now, the more words you add with whatever letter you choose, your poem's going to be so much better. And it doesn't even have to go together that much. You can see in her Principalian example, she did a lot. Like, she poked peas with pencils, ponder perplexing puzzles, and perform procedures on penguins. That's a lot, but it just sounds really funny. It's well written and really funny. So I hope you have fun. And like I said, they have little pictures for you. But like I said earlier, it would be really awesome if you drew your own picture of your creature. So can't wait to see them. Good luck. Oh yeah, I guess I should do my spiel. Share on Flipgrid, share on Zoom, or you may share with your fam. Okay?